Dean is here.
Right.
The intelligence director, sir.
Morning, Neil.
Morning, Edward.
Just popping in to tell you that I'm off to Malta in about a quarter of an hour.
Malta?
Yes, slight fiddle. I feel like a few days' break, so I thought I'd take a little holiday on the firm.
Visiting the station, huh?
I shall too, for about 5 minutes. Wondered if there was anything I could do for you out there.
No, you can just have a good time. Give my regards to Len Shepherd and...
Bernie Tyndall.
Yes.
Right, I'll see you next week.
Is Annie going with you?
No, it's supposed to be a cheap holiday. I don't think I could persuade C to pay for wives or camp followers.
Not this sea, anyway.
No hatchets buried yet?
Other than between my shoulder blades? No.
Thank you very much. That's kind.
Morning, Marianne. Morning, boss.
Good morning, Willie.
Morning. Got a problem? No, I was just wondering if Edward Tyler was all right.
I just seen him in the corridor, skiving off to Malta.
Not before time.
What's it for?
A holiday.
Oh, because he cocked up that Singapore deal.
Oh, much of a cock-up. Mind you, it's the first mistake I've ever known him make.
Well, it'll be all right.
Hope so. Sit down.
Dawk il-passiġġieri li se jsirfu għal-ġipli fuq is-servizz numru 562 huma mitluba biex jibqgħu diħlin fis-sala tat-tluq.
Hello, Len.
Hello, sir. Welcome to Malta.
Thanks.
We haven't arranged anything for you. We didn't know what you want to do.
Sleep.
That's what we guessed. You fixed your own hotel, didn't you?
Excelsior in Floriana.
Just give us a ring if there's anything you want.
I'll pop in a day or two.
Anytime.
Thanks again, Len.
Good to see you, sir. Have a nice rest. uni.
Where have you been? I was getting worried.
You look it. Has Edward Tyler been in contact?
No. Wasn't he at the airport?
Yes. I took him to his hotel and left him there.
And?
Then I found his coat in the back of my car. So I went back in time to see him step out in the company of an extremely dolly bird.
You've been trailing the intelligence director.
For a while. Then I returned to the hotel and discovered that Tyler and Dolly Bird have adjacent rooms. She arranged when she checked in this morning.
Who's the girl?
A German.
Of which persuasion?
Well, West German passport, but that could mean anything. Name of Margarita Muller. No. Point is, Bernie, why didn't he tell me about her? He knows the rules.
Yes, and he's known both of us long enough to be sure that we'd handle it with discretion.
Nothing more than a routine check.
So, if he didn't want her checked,
You may have something to hide.
who's the head of the CIA section in London now? Jack Armstrong, isn't it?
Yeah, but I'd rather tell Burnside.
It's not really an operational concern.
Well, it will be if they send a sandbagger to fetch him home.
You don't think... Not Edward Tyler, surely.
No. No, I'm sure it's okay. But he should be answering a few questions. And I'd rather, for his sake, that Burnside did the asking and not CI.
Then I suggest you get yourself to London.
Yes, I've already booked myself on the 1900 flight tonight.
Good. You see, I don't want to put any of this in a signal. And if you phone, it'll be recorded on the MCO.
No, I'll see Burnside first thing in the morning.
No, just a few days in Malta at the service's expense.
Supposedly visiting us. But a duty trip meant that he didn't have to take his wife, while the holiday element meant that he wouldn't be bothered by the station.
Leaving him free to see this girl.
Yes, and no doubt that it was pre-arranged.
But it could still be the girl is West German, therefore harmless.
Oh, he's not a mug. He knows that if he wants to have it off in Malta, we're not going to pass judgment. All he has to do is ask us to have her checked out, or prove that she's already been checked.
She's pretty.
I'd crawl all the way back to Malta for her, over broken glass.
Just what the KGB or the SSD would choose.
Right.
What does your boss feel about him?
Well, Bernie's okay. He'll go along with whatever you want to do.
I don't know what I want to do. But I do know that Tyler's gone over it and make Philby look like Snow White. Right, Len, thanks for handling it the way you do.
There's no action from me, sir?
Normal routines. Nothing that could alert Tyler.
Understood.
What flight are you going back on?
Well, I'll aim for the 10:55.
There could be a sandbagger on it with you.
Well, in the circumstances, that would be a relief.
Okay. Give Bernie my thanks, won't you?
Will do, sir.
Hello, man.
Hello.
What are you doing here, then?
Well, I had to come back now and again, just to see the place is still standing.
Well, if ever you want a hand to put it down.
Well, if you feel like that, you better come out to Malta for a holiday.
Oh, chance would be a fine thing, would it?
Well, you never know. Cheers, then.
Seeing you. What's Len Shepherd doing here?
Sit down, Willie. There's just the possibility.
Yes, sir.
Well, Marion, see if you can get me an appointment with Welling emergently.
All right.
Just the possibility?
That Dean could be targeted by the SSD, girl agent in Malta.
D-Int? Nah, not a chance.
Well, everyone has his price.
I don't believe it.
I didn't want to believe it, but he's seeing a German girl, staying at the same hotel, and it was set up.
He's playing around on the side.
I don't think so. Tyler's a devoted family man, adores his wife.
Well, marriages are seldom what they seem, you know.
I know. But it's not Tyler's way.
Well, no, it's doubling.
I hope not.
Oh, God.
What?
Well, that would mean an assassination, wouldn't it?
Would it?
Well, we couldn't let the intelligence director come to trial, destroy our credibility for 50 years.
Well, it hasn't reached that stage. Nobody knows about it except you and me in the station, and they've passed the buck.
You've got to report this. Get a sandbagger out there in case he's going to jump.
If he was jumping, the girl would be there simply to lift him. Both be on the other side of the Berlin Wall by now.
Oh, that's a dangerous assumption.
But if I declare it, it'll come out officially that Tyler's seeing a German girl, hasn't reported it to the station, and set up the meet before he left London.
So?
So even if there's nothing more to it than that, it'll be enough to finish him. CI will have landed a big fish and they'll fry it.
Yeah, his own fault, too. What are you going to do?
I don't know. I know it's stupid, but I'm reluctant to throw Tyler to the wolves until I'm absolutely certain.
Yeah, that's stupid, all right.
But he's a good D, Willie. He's often done favours for us. He's always risked himself for us.
It's irrelevant now, isn't it?
It isn't. There have been times here when D-Ints and D-Ops have hardly spoken to each other, spent more time in opposition fighting each other than taking on the KGB.
Look, he's seeing a German girl. He hasn't reported it to the station.
No.
He's broken every rule in the book.
So have we in our time.
Not like this. No, he's either mad or he's doubling, and either way, you've got to report it.
Wellingham at 9:15.
Right.
Declare it as a special op. Send a Sandbagger.
Or send a sandbagger without declaring it.
Ah.
I'll tell the deputy chief after we've got on the aircraft.
Oh, the last time you did that.
It's either that or crucify Tyler.
All right. I won't say no to a couple of days in the sun. A simple check on Tyler and the girl. Yes?
No, shut it off, Willie, just in case.
So you do think he could jump?
I don't know what to think. But we can't take the risk.
Well, I can't shut the island off by myself.
You shepherd.
I'll need Mike, too.
You want me to send both sandbaggers without approval?
I'm afraid so.
The last time I did that.
Look, I'll need a 24-hour watch on Tyler. That'll be Mike and Shepard. A bit of freedom myself to move around.
All right, Willie, take Mike with you. If you move, you'll catch the 10:55, I think it is.
Oh.
Then Shepard should be on it. He can give you all the details.
You're going to the Foreign Office. Something else brewing?
Just a rearguard action.
Every time you ask for an appointment these days, I'm told that it's urgent.
Yes, well, this one is, but I rather wish it wasn't. I've come for advice, but at this stage, it's got to be off the record, the whole conversation, sir.
Making me an accessory, before or after the fact.
Oh, I'm not sure yet, but I'm telling you instead of informing C or the deputy chief.
Well, couldn't you get advice from one of them?
Yes, but they'd be obliged to take action on what I told them.
And I won't.
We might. But it wouldn't be your immediate responsibility, as it is theirs.
I'm sufficiently intrigued to be foolish. Off the record.
I can't believe it, but I have to accept the possibility that Edward Tyler may be doubling.
My God. Tyler? Well, if he is, it'll sink everyone.
I
From
know.
the Prime Minister to the lowest registry clerk.
Yes.
Is there evidence?
Well, nothing conclusive. Tyler's in Malta, supposedly on a few days' holiday on his own. But we think he went there specifically to meet a German girl. And he's broken the reporting rule.
Doesn't sound like Tyler.
Exactly.
If it was a girl he knew in England, just a stolen week of bliss.
He'd tell the station. It would be the sensible thing to do. It avoids just this kind of speculation. But Tyler adores his wife. And I don't think he'd go astray.
Then I think you must report it. He's the intelligence director, seeing, what, twice as much classified material as anyone else in headquarters?
At least.
And Tyler's brilliant. He'll have retained all of it.
Yes.
Then make a report with a recommendation to assassinate if he's doubling.
I'd rather act alone, sir. If it is an infatuation and I can extricate him from
What's
it.
the girl like?
Young and beautiful, I'm told.
Go on.
Well, if I can get him out of there with no harm done, I'll have saved a very good officer. But if he has gone over, the Sandbaggers are there to take him out privately. No one will ever know the truth.
Not even see.
No one. Then there's very little chance of a leak or a rumor that could cause a scandal in the future.
Has a sandbagger gone to Malta?
They'll both be there this afternoon.
Well, you'll be taking a chance, assassinating without any form of authorization.
But it would be the best thing for the service, sir. And the country.
If he is doubling, wouldn't it be to the advantage of the KGB or SSD or whoever to leave him here?
Very much so.
Why would they allow him to risk exposure in Malta with one of their own agents?
Well, that's what I'm pinning my hopes on. If he is a double, the situation just doesn't make sense.
By the same token, his own behavior is equally inexplicable, particularly with a man like Tyler.
I know.
Say you can extricate him with nothing worse than egg on his face.
Yes.
The government and the service would be safe because there wouldn't be a trial. And you could afford to report it.
But Tyler would have to go all the same.
Precisely. And if you have any one main rival in the promotion stake...
Much as I want to get ahead of Tyler, sir, I would prefer a D-int with whom I could work.
The quality of life being greater than the glory.
Yes.
Very well. Go ahead as planned. But if the egg ends up on your face...
You'll solve the problem by cutting off my head.
and carrying it round Westminster on a pole.
Isn't a view like that where you come from?
Nor where you come from.
No, that's true.
Edward,
Yeah?
you're drinking too much.
Why not? It's duty-free. The best that British Airways could supply.
We have to talk,
Too hot to talk.
but time's running out for us.
Nonsense. We're on holiday. Time doesn't matter.
You're doing what?
Well, I'm sending both the Sandbaggers to Malta, sir.
Why?
Well, I've had a tip from the CIA about KGB activity out there.
CIA? I thought you and Ross were sworn enemies now.
We're no longer friends, but the exchange of information's got to go on.
What's the KGB supposed to be doing in Malta?
We don't know. But they could be going for D-int.
How?
A snatch.
A snatch? Since when has the KGB been snatching SIS officers?
Well, there has to be some reason why they're there, sir.
Well, maybe, but a snatch? You're telling me the truth?
Of course.
Then you've taken leave of your senses.
I don't think so.
Well, I haven't seen a signal to the station. A warning to D-int?
The Sandbaggers will brief them.
Oh, you're expecting the KGB to delay things until the Sandbaggers get there?
They should be there now.
If they're there now, they must have left this building 5 hours ago.
Yes.
It didn't take you 5 hours to get from the 5th floor to the 6th.
No, but I did have a busy forenoon.
Yeah. Recall them.
I'm sorry.
Recall the Sandbaggers, that's an order.
The Sandbaggers have a job to do in Malta. I'd rather not tell you what it is.
What's that supposed to mean?
You prefer not to know about it.
In other words, another illegal operation?
It has Wellingham's unofficial blessing.
So, now you're clearing SIS business with your former father-in-law.
I've cleared it with the PUS of the Foreign Office.
And now you can clear it with me.
I don't want C to know.
Why? Because C is tough on you, won't let you have your own way?
Because it could affect Edward's career.
In what way?
He's in Malta with a German girl. And the Sandbaggers are there to see that it's nothing sinister.
Did he make a report to the station?
No.
And if it is sinister?
Then we'll deal with it.
By bringing him home?
No.
You can't, not without approval.
The Sandbaggers will take responsibility in Malta, and I'll take full responsibility here.
In that case, there's no requirement to involve me.
So?
Well, if it is just an indiscretion on Tyler's part, I'll turn a blind eye. But if you're going to assassinate without approval...
To save the service?
Oh, even so. There's no point in us both going to the wall.
No, but I did authorize 2 air tickets to Malta. I mean, sooner or later, you'll have to endorse those.
Could be weeks before I see the next travel return. What I'm saying is, if you can deal with it quietly, one way or another, I'll sign the return, that'll be an end of it.
But?
If it goes wrong, this conversation never took place.
Understood, sir.
Oh, and Neil. Don't lie to me in future.
I didn't want to involve you, sir. Which is what you want.
That doesn't affect the principle of the thing. I've a right to know what's going on.
Yes, sir.
I don't know, some people have all the luck. If I was thinking of jumping, she'd be all the persuasion I'd need.
Which could be why she's here.
Well, we'll see. At the moment, the only jumping he looks like doing is on top of her.
Don't.
I have a vivid imagination and a weak heart.
I'll just be thankful he's still here. If he jumped while you were on your way to London, it would have been a coronary.
Bernie was spot checking him.
That's about as much use as going through his luggage for Berlin travel brochures.
Very simple, us station folk.
All right. It'd help if we could hear what they were saying, wouldn't it? You haven't got one of those directional listening devices, have you?
Oh, we have. Some rubbish. It's okay for passing jumbo jets and earthquakes. Useless for conversations.
We had one at field school. I was trying to detect a conversation and almost got killed by a passing juggernaut, which I didn't hear.
Why is all our equipment so useless?
Because we haven't got any money to buy decent stuff.
We dare not risk getting too close. We'll have to see what we can gather by observation. Mike and I'll check into the Phoenicia then, if you'll stay here and keep an eye on him, yeah?
Well, not for too long, I hope. My wife may not be Margarita Muller, but I do like to see her occasionally.
All right, we'll bring you some fish and chips about 8 o'clock, yeah?
I don't know why I ever joined SIS.
Yes?
He wants you, sir.
Right.
My spies told me the deputy chief had been seeing him just before he sent for you.
Was it? Thanks.
Where are the Sandbaggers?
In Malta, backing up the station.
Special operation?
Not as such, no.
Who authorized their detachment?
I did.
Am I not right in assuming it requires my endorsement or that of the deputy chief?
I intended to brief the deputy chief, sir. I didn't want to bother you.
You're such an accomplished liar. I almost find myself believing you. Why didn't you tell me that one of my directors is a major security risk or worse?
We're not sure that he is a security risk, sir, major or otherwise.
Any officer of mine who uses service time and money to see a woman abroad is a security risk. He lied to me to get his holiday. He failed to declare the woman to the station.
All of which is very untypical behavior from a brilliant officer who's probably the best intelligence director we've had in years.
Well, I suppose I should be encouraged to witness any form of loyalty in someone as selfish as you. But this time your loyalty is misplaced.
I'm not being loyal, sir. I'm just being careful. If it turns out that Tyler is being stupid over a woman, then you can wrap his knuckles. But if he's doubling, then the Sandbaggers are on hand to deal with it.
By which you mean assassination?
Made to look like an accident, yes.
No, I don't know why, but your arrogance never ceases to amaze me.
Sir?
What gives you the power of life and death over Edward Tyler, when you know that assassination in any form requires Prime Minister's approval?
Well, surely you see the logic of it, sir. If it turns out that our intelligence director of all people is a double agent, then your resignation's going to be the first of many.
Oh, you're protecting me,
No, sir, I'm protecting the service, and not just its future. Its survival.
SIS has no warrant for murder.
If the Sandbaggers get caught, they won't embarrass the government.
That is not the issue.
Then what is the issue, sir?
That the service is not empowered to carry out assassinations without full and proper clearance.
We'd rather have a trial, another Philby.
No! But neither do I want a service that operates outside the law.
There are no laws in this game, sir.
Oh, yes, there are. Laws designed to prevent us from stepping across a line, on one side of which we act for the government, on the other side of which we act despite the government.
Well, let's say that our game doesn't permit their rigid application.
It does while I'm C.
I was brought up to believe that rules and regulations are for the obedience of fools and the guidance of wise men.
That was the old SIS. It's gone forever, and it's time you realize that. Now, the Sandbaggers are to maintain their surveillance of Tyler until they know what he's doing. Then they are to intercept him and bring him back.
And if he won't come?
Then they may use whatever force is necessary to restrain him. We'll ship him home aboard a private aircraft, in a trunk if necessary.
Why did you tell C?
If you want to ask a question, Neil, please do it in a civil
You're the
manner.
world's #1 yardarm clear, aren't you? It wasn't enough that I would have taken the blame, but you had to go sniveling to C.
I don't have to justify my actions to you at any time. It happens I decided on further reflection that C had a right to know.
Well, it may have won you a few points, but it has lost us our intelligence director.
Yes, well, I had hoped that C would be more forgiving.
How could he be, when you brought it officially to his attention?
I was worried about an unauthorized assassination.
Well, it may not come to it. And anyway, you weren't worried about that. You were more worried about yourself.
Don't be insubordinate, or you'll be the next to go.
There's a lot of things I have to live with, but selling out's not one of them.
What do you mean?
God save the knighthood and the pension. To hell with justice.
sir?
Yes?
Willie phoned through to the MCO. I took it for you.
Does he want me to ring him back?
No, he left a message. The Sandbaggers are living at the Phoenicia, if you want them. Tyndale's done a lot of checking on both parties during the day. They seem to have been arguing a lot, and Tyndale's convinced that they aren't lovers. On the other hand, they've been walking openly through the streets of Valletta and Floriana with very little attempt to be discreet.
What does Willie make of it?
Well, he's not sure, but at the moment none of it makes sense, and there's no pattern, therefore no prediction at this stage.
Okay, ring him back and give him this message word for word, will you? The chief knows the full story now, so the job's official. But he will not approve our original solution if it's a leapfrog. Thus, if the number one party does try to take wings, it'll be a hold and report number with a view to getting him back to base, okay?
Right. Ringing from the MCO?
Oh, yes. It's a special op now. Everything is to be recorded for posterity.
Look what happened to Nixon.
Hello, Willie.
Bernie?
Anything new?
Yes, you're off the hook. The mission is now official.
Oh, thank God for that. I was getting a bit twitched. Anything else?
Yes, it sounds like Burnside's been overruled on taking Tyler out, if it is a jump.
Well, I can't say I'm sorry about that, either.
But we never get permission to knock him over once he's been brought back to UK.
So it'll mean a trial?
Yep. Once it's been through the FCO, number 10.
Scotch?
Yeah, madness not to.
What do you think about it all, Willie?
Don't know. If he's jumping, why hasn't he jumped? If he's doubling, why is he being so indiscreet?
Water?
I never touched that when I'm abroad. If he's just screwing her, why didn't he tell you all then?
What other options are there?
Madness brought on by the Maltese sun?
We all suffer from that. But his would have to be a pretty bad case, wouldn't it? Cheers.
Yeah, but that's what's so crazy about it. You see, Edward Tyler has a mind as sharp as a razor. Whatever he's doing, he'll have a damn good reason for doing it.
Has Burnside got any ideas?
No, he's as baffled as we are.
Yes?
It was going to be a bouquet of flowers, but I thought people might talk.
What do you want?
Oh, just a little peace offering after our misunderstanding last week. And I came to ask you a question. Can I come in? What is your director of intelligence doing in Malta?
Visiting the station, having a break?
Yeah, and nibbling the ear of a KGB lady.
KGB? Are you sure?
Didn't you know about it?
I was told she was German. Traveling on FGR pass.
She works in Dzerzhinsky Street. Her real name is Valentina Koselyev.
How do you know?
Well, one of our agents spotted her boarding an aircraft at Moscow airport. But then we tracked her through East Berlin to Vienna and on to Malta.
And presumably there's a reverse route.
Oh, yeah. Air Malta to Vienna. And after that, you name it. So what are you doing about it?
Those Sandbaggers are in Malta running a full check on Tyler and the girl. Does Langley know about this?
No, not in positive terms. The Malta station chief put Tyler's name on the computer. It coughed back his identity. Well, then Langley signaled me, telling me to try to find out just what Tyler's up to.
Who's targeting who?
Well, it could have been you were targeting Comrade Koselyev.
How about reporting to Langley? Well, that's just what we are doing.
Are you kidding? Hey, Neil, who is the one guy in the whole of SIS that could do the most damage by double?
Exactly. You tell Langley the truth, and it'll be the witch hunt of all time.
Yeah, and what about all that stuff he compromised?
That's history.
Hey, come on, Neil. The planners have got to be told.
How can you make a list of all the stuff that Tyler's seen in the past 20 years? It would take you another 20 years to compile it. You owe me a favor, Jeff, a big one.
Not that big.
Yes, you do. Because if you don't help us now, that'll be the end of SIS. And the backlash could destroy the CIA, too.
Yeah, okay, so what happens? One of your boys takes him out?
No, I've been ordered not to.
Yeah, okay, so what the hell good can I do? There'll be a trial, and Langley will read all about it in the newspapers.
No, there won't. Because Tyler's not coming back alive.
An accident?
Yes. And we'll report it as such to you.
And I thought C hated your guts.
Yes.
Well, if you blow this one, it's really the end of the road.
If you're going to disobey C, I may not be able to save you.
I appreciate that.
I think he's wrong. That Tyler should be assassinated to save the service. But if he took it to the Prime Minister...
You'd have to back C.
I can't be seen to condone an unauthorized assassination. They'd fire me as well. I'm willing to go over C's head, see the Prime Minister myself.
I can't risk that, sir. I mean, if the Prime Minister said no, I'd be in even worse trouble. And anyway, I don't think I can wait while it's being debated at Downing Street.
The Sandbaggers will hit Tyler today?
No. I'm going to Malta this morning, unofficially.
Why?
2 reasons. The first is I can't ask the Sandbaggers to put their careers on the line, so I'll send them home, do the job myself.
But will you be able to do it?
Well, it's not so very long ago since I was a Sandbagger.
I mean, you're quite close to Tyler, aren't you? Closer than the Sandbaggers.
I'll be all right.
And the second reason?
Well, I want to talk to Tyler personally. Find out what he's doing.
We know what he's doing.
We think we do. But there are a lot of unanswered questions. You said yourself his behavior's inexplicable.
And how will you explain your absence from the office?
Day's illness.
Hazardous.
A lot less hazardous than assassinating without permission.
Good morning, sir.
Morning. I'm not here. I'm at home with the flu.
Right, sir.
But actually, I'm going to Malta. I'll be back about midnight.
And no one's to know?
No, I rang in. Must have left the phone off the hook.
I see.
Now, if there's a panic or you need me urgently, ring Malta Station from here, not from the MCO, and leave a message.
Right.
Ring the Sandbaggers. Do that from here, too. Say I'll be on a Malta flight and get one of them to meet me.
Right.
Deal with that, will you?
What about an airline ticket? Do you want me to ring travel?
I'll buy one.
I don't suppose I'm allowed to know what's going on, am I?
If I knew, I'd tell you.
Good morning, Mertside.
Good morning, sir.
Mr. Stricker,
Good morning, sir.
if I could have a word.
Yes, sir.
You're to go to Malta this morning. I'm not happy to have you and both Sandbaggers away, but I want you to take personal charge over there. See that nothing goes wrong. Now, in particular, there's to be nothing that will embarrass our government with the Maltese. That means you'll have to bring Tyler out quietly, if necessary.
We've identified the girl, sir. She's a KGB officer called Valentina Kiselyov.
In that case, I'll see the Foreign Secretary, and we'll both go to Downing Street.
There's still time to assassinate, sir. Privately.
Bring him back, and we'll face the consequences.
We've always been allowed to kill before, sir. In self-defense. That's what this would be.
Bring him back. Do you understand?
Yes, sir, I understand.
Do we know where he is? He was on one of his walkabouts around Valletta when I left him. With the girl? Yes, sir. Willie's tracking him. Badger, this is Bunny.
Who allocated the call signs?
Willie. I think he reads nursery rhymes in bed. Badger, this is Bunny.
Badger, over.
Interrogative location.
Upper Baraka Gardens.
Roger, joining you.
Roger, out.
Still in Valletta, sir.
Big thing.
Hi, boss.
Well then,
Well, they're both in there in the gardens.
Is that the only way in and out?
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to look at possible assassination areas?
I did, sir. The best place is on the southeast corner of the island called Hassan's Cave. There are high cliffs, rocks below. Easy for anyone to fall.
Okay.
I thought the hitch was off.
It was. But I had to do a deal with Ross to keep the CIA out of it. All right. There's a flight to London at 1900. I want you both on it. And I want you out of here now.
Why?
I've got direct orders from C not to hit him. And I've got an ultimatum from Ross to hit him. And I don't want you two involved.
We are involved, sir.
Too right we are. You can sack you, they can sack me too.
And me.
Don't be stupid. I'm doing this to save the service. And the service is not going to be any good without a trained special section, which happens to be you two.
Okay. Go on, get going, Mike. Wait for me at the station.
To hell with
The boss is right, so move. Stay on the radio. I'll call you if we need you.
Look, if you're both fired, I'm not staying. Yes, you are. Service has got to come first, man. Go with him, will you?
Get lost.
You won't feel such a hero when you're out of a job.
Maybe not. I've got a job at the moment. I'm head of the special section. And you're muscling in on my mission.
Okay, stay here and cover the entrance. Let the girl go, but stop Tyler if he slips me.
And how much longer?
I've told you. I'm on holiday. Don't press me.
It's not me who's pressing. You know that.
Neil. Hello, Edward.
What are you doing here?
I was hoping to have a word with you in private.
Oh, I haven't introduced you.
There's no introductions necessary. I know all about Comrade Casello.
Ignore him, Edward. There's nothing he can do here.
You've blown it, Comrade. There's no way you're going to get him back to Moscow now.
Is that what you think this is all about?
Edward. You can't win them all. Don't do anything silly, Edward. Willie's at the entrance.
I'm much too tired, Neil.
What was it? Idealism?
Love. Or at least I thought it was love at the time.
Want to tell me about it?
Why not? When I left the school in 1956, I went directly to the Moscow station. She was a student, very sweet and very pretty. In fact, she was rather like that girl to look at. Maybe someone did his homework. I was very young and I adored her. I'd have done anything for her. And eventually I did. When the money came in, I needed it. Needed it to hold her, to buy things for her. No hardship to sign receipts. No problem. They had photographs of the handovers.
And how long before she disappeared?
Oh, not long. Just as soon as they had enough evidence on me to make sure.
You should have gone to the head of station.
Easy to say. Bit more difficult to start out on life with a stretch in prison.
They might have allowed you to triple.
I was young, but I wasn't that young. I realized even then that a triple agent has no future, no friends, no trust from anyone.
Up until a couple of days ago, you had a very definite future. You'd have been C one day.
Maybe. But that was the worst of it. The longer I stayed in the service, the more successful I became, the more it tore me apart.
Why the hell didn't you jump from here on the first day?
I don't know. I was supposed to, of course, but I didn't want to go.
You were waiting for us to intercept you.
Part of me, yes. I've been running for 23 years, Neil. You've no idea what it's been like.
The raincoat in Shepherd's car.
I left it on impulse. No real idea why I was doing it, except that the SIS officer in me said that the KGB shouldn't have everything their own way. The station should have a chance.
And the walkabouts in Valletta.
The same, I suppose. And the fact that I chose a hotel in Floriana, where the station offices are.
We were meant to make up your mind for you.
In a way. I was trapped. The KGB wanted me to jump and live in Moscow. I wanted to stay to be with Annie, my family.
But we couldn't have held Annie forever. She'd have been free to join you in Moscow.
Annie, when she'd learned that I'd betrayed her, the service, the country, it would have broken her heart, and she'd have hated me for it.
Tell me, why did the KGB want you to jump? When they could have had you a seat one day. Deputy chief, perhaps?
Oh, they didn't want me to jump. I couldn't go on. I asked to be lifted. And as soon as I'd done that, they knew my heart wasn't in it anymore.
So they decided to cut their losses, huh?
Well, I've been cutting their gains. In the early days, when I was very afraid, I gave them practically anything I could lay my hands on. In the past year or so, I've given them just enough to keep them quiet. Sometimes not even that much.
Well, that must have worried them.
Yes. They knew I was cracking, decided to capitalize on me before I did. Banner headlines in Pravda. SIS directed effects. They've been biting their nails over my delaying tactics, of course. Enough to give me a choice. Leave Malta for Moscow, or commit suicide.
Suicide?
Not so good for them if I confess. Return to the fold, is it? So Valentina offered a cyanide pill. But it's an assassination now, isn't it?
Yes.
Designed to look like an accident?
Yes.
Good. That's always been my worry, you see. Oh, I've often thought of suicide as a way out of it all. The problem was, I loved Annie. Still do. I couldn't bear her to think that I'd killed myself because I was unhappy with her.
And that was the ultimate objective in all this? That we should take you on?
Maybe. Back of my mind. I don't know. I suppose I did know that if it was to be a faked accident, Willie would do it better than I could.
Not Willie, me.
You?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Neil.
So am I. I wish to hell you got away.
Way to where? I told you I've been running for years. And suddenly there's no point in running anymore.
What was that?
Cyanide pill.
But you said you wanted an accident.
Perhaps it could still be so, as far as Annie's concerned. Perhaps she could be told that it was a heart attack. No, Neil. We've kept it civilized. Let's end it like that. All I have to do is bite into the pill.
C was right.
Hmm?
He didn't want you killed, but I argued for it.
No more than I expected. What I didn't expect was that you would be making the hit. I owe you more than that.
Oh, come on, spit the damn thing out. I'll take you back to London.
I'm too tired, Neil, much too tired. Now, just walk away. And when you're at a safe distance from me, not to be connected with me, Goodbye, Neil.
Thanks for making it easy.
Well, our service to the SIS.
Joanna!
And life churns madly on.
Just as well.
It's funny how we all accept the rules, isn't it?
In what way?
Well, we both liked Tyler, respected him. He liked and respected us, but if either one of us had had to take him out, we just would have accepted that. And he would have accepted it too, as being inevitable.
Yes, I was thinking about that. And about the waste. The contribution he might have made, the reasons why he should have lived. It's funny, it's something we never ask ourselves. What code did Tyler offend? And who says the offence is really serious enough to warrant the punishment?
Perhaps that's what C meant.
Maybe. And I thought he was being soft and stupid.
Well, perhaps you were right too. It's the old story, isn't it? Those who live by the rules.
But when you consider that Tyler committed one basic sin 23 years ago.
A lot of other sins since.
Oh, I know. But it was the first one that put him on the treadmill.
It took a cyanide capsule to get him off. Fancy a swim?
Don't tell me you brought your swimming trunks with you.
Travel and hope, as the actress said to the bishop.
I hope you drown.